Despite the mainstream media's best efforts, the Velma series on HBO Max has been a bigger catastrophe than anyone could have possibly imagined. Even though we knew nearly all the characters were going to be race swapped, even though we knew the dialogue was likely going to be cringe-inducing and unfunny, even though we knew that in the first bit of promotional material, they used that opportunity to take shots at fans. Nobody thought it was going to be this bad. A 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. Over on IMDb, it's even worse. A 1.3 out of 10. The worst rated television show in history. That's how bad it is. And it's full-blown panic mode now, not just for Velma, but also for the members of the woke mainstream media that have been trying to promote this series. And in their desperation, they're now doing their best to deflect, to try to find some good thing to say about Velma. Articles like this. Jinkies, Velma demand surges 127%, a critic-defying win for HBO Max. Well, even though that headline might sound great for Velma, there's one problem. They use Parrot Analytics for their analysis. And if you know anything about Parrot Analytics, they try to claim that we show what people are looking for, what people care about. But unfortunately for them, that's just not the case. What they do track is how many times someone mentions something. That could be in a tweet where they say, wow, I'm never watching the Velma series. It looks terrible. It could be in a tweet that goes viral where people are clipping out a part of it and saying, wow, no one should ever watch this. It could be every single person crapping on something. It has nothing to do with ratings. It has nothing to do with how many people are actually watching something. But the mainstream media, they don't care. And when it comes to the rap, ironically, I tried to look at the author of this, Andrea Wads, and I found something very interesting. When I opened that link to try to look at what the author's written, it actually takes me to a series of articles that are written and paid for by, you guessed it, Parrot Analytics. Very interesting how that works, isn't it? Parrot Analytics is the industry leader in global audience demand measurement. We are going to get into why this is a bunch of horse shit. If you remember it, we talked about Parrot Analytics not that long ago, back when SheHulk was out, when some of the actors came out to try to say, well, SheHulk's the #1 thing out there. It's #1 in demand. Our audience loves us. They tuned in and they love it. Well, when we looked at some of these charts, when we saw how high SheHulk was on these charts, people said, you know, doesn't quite make sense, does it? And then the actual ratings came out. And spoiler alert, despite the fact that people on Twitter were talking about SheHulk, some shitting on it, some people actually loving it, no one was actually watching this series. It struggled to break into the top 10. It was getting beat out routinely by things that were below it on the in-demand list for Parrot Analytics. It's just an absolute joke. We've exposed this multiple times. Yet this is now where the mainstream media is desperately trying to go to get a win for Velma. As much as people may love to hate the show and Mindy Kaling, HBO Max's Velma saw a whopping 127% increase in demand. Now, demand should be in quotation marks. What this really means is the amount of people talking about something. Unfortunately, all it takes is one simple glance to tell you that, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. For instance, when you look at Velma, right now it's ahead of The Last of Us. We know that The Last of Us, even though I have no interest in watching this show and I think it's going to end up being a disaster, it had the second highest viewed premiere of all time for HBO and HBO Max in terms of a new program. We know that thing, it's not breaking records that were set by House of the Dragon, but it's the second, it's right behind it. Velma's not even close to that. They didn't even tell us the numbers for Velma. They just said, well, it's the top animated episode 1. This is a joke. This tells you right here that these numbers are just straight up garbage. Even though we have definitive proof from HBO Max that Last of Us is doing better, somehow Velma's above it. Do you know why? Because the amount of people that despise this show and are laughing at it and are talking about it, they're pushing others to not watch it, period. But everybody is shitting on it. So what Parrot Analytics does is every time someone says the word Velma or talks about Velma, they say, look, that means there's audience demand. No, as we've proven time and time again, as we've proven with SheHulk, as we've proven with other things from Parrot Analytics, that is a farce. No one is watching Mindy Kaling's Velma series. What they are doing are they're seeing the responses to it. They're seeing the breakdowns for this, and they're laughing and they're saying, wow, nobody should waste their time with that. They're laughing at the viral clips that are out there. of this garbage. So the mainstream media can try to spin it any way they want. They can have articles that are literally bought and paid for by Parrot Analytics to try to make it look like there's some value to what they're doing. But all you got to do is look a little bit deeper into the numbers, and it is clear. The Velma series is a disaster, and the mainstream media are making their best possible attempt to spin it any way they can. Hey, a lot of people are talking about this. That must mean it's in demand. Unfortunately for you, it's not. People gave it a shot for one episode, they despised it, and now they're roasting it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. This is how pathetic the mainstream media is, literally taking money from Parrot Analytics to write articles to make it look like people care about this. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.